Hi everybody, my name is Anna Elias and I am the author of my debut novel, The Vessels. It is out through Vesuvian Books and it released in July of 2020, and it is it's the first book of a planned trilogy. Every author has themes that are important to them in their book. There are several themes in here about love, hope, and forgiveness, but one of the key questions that The Vessels asks is, what if we could sit across from our most hated enemy to ask forgiveness, to give forgiveness, in order to repair heartache for us, for them, for humanity in general? What would that look like? And would we be able to do it? It sometimes feels like that would be an impossibility, but it's also sometimes we know the one thing that's absolutely necessary to mend rifts in life. When I first wrote the book, my publisher came up with a storyteller's box. It had some gifts in it, that you buy, like t-shirt and book bag and things like that, and of course the book itself that was signed. But I also created an author's letter that was in the box, and in that I sort of talk about the themes as well. We've all felt lost at some point. Perhaps others have hurt us, or we have hurt them, or a trusted relationship blew apart and left us shattered. Perhaps we've mourned the death of a loved one, wishing that we had done more, or said less, or maybe held them closer. Maybe we acted on hate or bias or without thinking, and we sought revenge or crushed someone without going back to make things right. In a small way, The Vessels gives this back. It's a field of second chances, fresh starts, and restored relationships, a gold mine of unconditional love and life-changing forgiveness, even in the darkest and scariest corners. It lights a path to mending heartache and lifting us to our highest angels. The Vessels is a supernatural sci-fi thriller with a heart for justice. It follows four broken strangers, led by Tal, who is a black ex-detective from Pittsburgh, and they've all suffered greatly in their own lives, but they become part of a program where spirits return and use them as hosts to find loved ones and right wrongs, find love, find forgiveness, restore hope, that kind of thing. And of course, though not every spirit is back for redemption, because there certainly is a serial killer rogue that comes back with no desire for that, and not every vessel will survive, but that's the goal, this redemption journey, where the spirits can find Elysium, where the vessels can learn things that will help them in their own life journeys, and where the people that the spirits seek can be lifted to their highest angels and can be restored. There's an example. There are four vessels. One of them, Link, is a fugitive, and so the vessels is almost a place where he can safely hide even as he serves. So he gets the spirit of a girl who died in high school. Her name is Valerie, and she's back to see her mother and tell her mom what happened the night of the accident and why she is to blame and not the boyfriend who's been accused for 10 years. And the mother hates this boyfriend. As you can imagine, he is her most despised enemy. So once Link bridges the divide and Rose believes that her daughter is in there, Rose has to do this by looking at a guy, Link, who looks just like the boyfriend. And Valerie did that on purpose. The spirit did that on purpose. So that Rose has to face this darkness in her life and in herself in order to heal. She has to forgive her daughter for doing this thing that killed her and others, and she ultimately has to face the boyfriend and ask forgiveness of him for the hate and for the fallout from that hate that she has given for 10 years. Many stories weaving together throughout the book. That's just an example, but we do have to see what happens and what it looks like and feels like to go through the motions of healing through confrontation and conflict. My background, I graduated from University of Florida, so Gainesville holds a special place in my heart. And I went to Miami shortly after to pursue film production. And I worked on music videos, commercials, anything I could really, until I got on Miami Vice, and I was Don Johnson's assistant the final season, which was amazing. I went from there to a TV show called In the Heat of the Night up in Georgia, where I met the man I would work with, but also eventually marry. Scott and I did many movies together across the country. We did Nell with Jodie Foster. We did 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. We did Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman. One of my favorites was A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey. In all of these films, we were the liaison between the film company and the town. We would enter first and exit last, and we would get to know everybody from the governor and the mayor to the police department to the homeowners and business owners. And our job was to marry the film crew into the community and vice versa. So just by doing that, we ended up bridging a lot of divides that we didn't even know existed, or maybe we learned about later. But it was such an honor to do that and to be part of that, and like I say, sometimes without even knowing. But on A Time to Kill, it was just one of my most amazing film experiences, where we did go into a little southern town called Canton, Mississippi, a town that had just suffered a huge racial divide. And we go in with this movie, this John Grisham book adaptation, that is racially charged. It's going to involve a lot of the same things that the town had just suffered. And they could easily have said, no, no thanks, too painful. But they didn't. They sat at the table, and we came in and sat at the table, and we ended up having this amazing experience where by filming there, we helped the town to heal. By facing some of the things they had just been through, they were able to overcome them. And we were able to have this amazing movie experience that was so deep and authentic, and it really bridged a lot of divides. I think that, with my passion for social justice in general, fairness, equality, the environment, I think all those kind of made this big stew of themes and issues that became The Vessels. And I hope it's a great story. I hope you enjoy it as a good read and fun, and you can get lost in the story there. But I also hope that maybe when you close the back cover, it might motivate some thought on how to heal, or potentially heal, something that's going on in your life. I know it has done that with me. What I'd like to do is read a very short excerpt from the book. When the vessels become vessels, they first go through, just the decision to be one, and then they have to be marked with a tattoo that's sort of a portal. And then they have to have a blessing. And the blessing is given by the wise elders who run the program. So this is the moment when Tal is receiving her blessing. And I think it sheds some insight on maybe what can be with all of us. "You seek the truth, Tallulah Davis," Chief Black whispered through the surge. "You will find it here, and the assurance will bring you peace, but not in any way you can imagine." His gentle tone and simple words, combined with the electrifying touch, launched Tal's soul like a shooting star. Every pain, heartache, and moment of suffering she had ever known exploded into a million tiny fractals and sucked back together again into a new being, a new her, that was grounded in love, hope, and joy. The feeling was similar to holding Darden the first time, her son Darden. But even that paled in comparison. She recognized the pieces of her new self and could still see and feel those moments that had darkened her, but their power had decreased, and she felt more connected to the world around her. She felt the crickets, owls, and coyotes as much as she heard them. The light circled through her as much as it surged around her, and she shared air, skin, and soul not only with the people, the earth, and the animals nearby, but also with those she could not see. The Creator had woven her into some spiritual tapestry that bound her to all life on earth. A pure, unselfish, unconditional love that was both all-powerful and drop to your knees humbling. I'm very honored to share my book, The Vessels, with you through the Sunshine State Book Festival. And I look forward to the time that we can connect, hopefully in person, once this pandemic allows. I wish you well. Take good care.